morning. These insights are about perceptions of the student athletes on dual career outcomes. I guess I don't need to tell you about the importance of sport and the importance of education in Europe and in general. However, since these two settings are organized separately in most of the cases, it is sometimes difficult to pursue both ways in the same time, which leads to dropouts we see in both systems. Therefore, the European Union expressed its interest in dual career and was encouraging many projects and research. But sometimes it's difficult to generalize these findings when they come from a single country, for instance, or from a specific setting, like having participants only from winter sport. Since dropout is finally more or less a personal decision, personal aspects are very important and well considered in literature. Nevertheless, the information about the perception of student athletes are little because of a limited number of participants and countries which have been involved in these studies. So therefore, the aim of this study was to investigate the student athletes' perception of dual career across countries, sport settings, and the academic majors. As a focus group, we developed a questionnaire which contained 11 sample characterizing items and 25 key items concerning the main topics: sport and academic career development, existing dual career services, and possible improvements for the future. We translated the questionnaire and we verified these versions at national level through running test trials with 10 participants each nation. This questionnaire was completed by 221 participants from Finland, Estonia, Austria, Italy, and Slovenia. Criteria for the student athletes was that they are enrolled in university, that they compete for at least 10 years, that they are now at national or international level and practicing a minimum of total 10 hours in total per week. We tested the data for differences and the qualitative data by conducting qualitative content analysis. Our sample was distributed quite equally, considering the gender, competition level, and nationality. And we had a slight shift toward individual sports, but we didn't consider this to be very problematic for our study. Regarding academic aspects, so items which focus on academic aspects, we need to highlight that awareness was scored very low, clearly below the average of possible points, and lower than all other results in the academic sector. So it's quite interesting that today we already mentioned several times the awareness is quite crucial. In sport, we have something similar. Awareness has the lowest result. And regarding the support and services, we see that the support and schedule adaptations are lower in university compared with sport environment. And the most important support comes from family, peers, and friends. When we asked athletes if they experience decreased effort, the majority said, no, we do not experience decreased effort in sport due to university, but the majority said, yes, we do, experienced decreased effort in university due to sport. But in the same time, this decreased effort led to higher decrement of success in university due to sport than the other way around. The most frequently mentioned suggestions for possible improvements have been off-campus exams, general flexibility and understanding from both environments, flexibility in particular in class attendance, and furthermore, they mentioned online study material, inter-institutional cooperation, teachers' availability, flexibility of lecturer schedule, and some more less frequently mentioned. We saw that the results we obtained differed between the countries in all items for sports and in 4 of 6 items for university and support and service. The results also differed between the gender, types of sport, and the competition level. So the meaning is, if data is depending on country, gender, type of sport, and competition level, that we should consider this when interpreting previous results, and we should consider this for further research, because it actually means that, as we assumed in the introduction, we can't generalize findings from a specific setting or single countries. It's very important for the future to know that. The key issues of these findings have been low awareness in both environments, and that flexibility was requested. That was the most frequently mentioned suggestion. The support and adoptions have been, let's say, not good in sports and worse in university. All few. The student athletes are willing to reduce their efforts in university more easily than in sports, and this decreased effort leads to more negative impact in the university. Considering this and the fact that most suggestions focused on the university environment, especially flexibility, tells us that there is some potential in both environments, of course, but especially in the university. So we will consider these findings in the winner project for developing a study model, and I hope they will consider it in other future research in our whole work. And I want to especially thank Flavia for her competences in this field. Thank you very much.